make an audience love you in 60 seconds. Most speakers, when they step on stage, instantly start talking about themselves or their story, or they'll insert something kind of, I call it nothingness, where they speak to the audience and they go, oh, how are we all doing? Are we having a good day? Weather's nice, isn't it? It's nothing. It's small talk. Nobody's here for your small talk. They want to know straight away, why the fuck should I listen to this person? Should I listen to this person? What's in it for me is what your audience is thinking subconsciously the moment you start speaking. You've positioned yourself as an authority. When you step on that stage, you now have to deliver the goods. And the key to this is not making it about yourself first, or talking about yourself first, but first engaging with them. I've spoken before about making it about your audience. That's how you become an incredible public speaker. Not spending the entirety of the time, I, me, talking about yourself, but actually making it about your audience. Well, if you engage with your audience in the first 60 seconds, you get them to engage back with you in some way, then you have got them hooked from that moment. And this is what you want to do, because people's attention spans, because of social media, thanks so much, you now have a shorter attention span. Our attention spans in person are longer than they are when scrolling or watching things on social media. However, you still have a short window to get people captured, to hook people in. And the way that you can do this, there is a number of ways that you can engage with your audience or get them to engage back with you and capture their attention. So that's what I want to dive into in this episode. When you prioritize engaging with your audience first, this could look like any of these options. You could tell a joke and get them to laugh. If you're a funny person, this is a great thing to do. You could do something really intriguing, inappropriate, interesting. I call it intrigue. Something that makes people go, what are they doing? Like they're not sure, but they're kind of like, what's going on over there? The third way is to do something where you scare them. You make them feel uncomfortable. Now, I watched somebody do this at an event last year, in 2024. I watched someone do this. They spent 5 minutes at the start of their speech dancing through the crowd. Literally throwing their sunglasses, their jacket, their shoes, their water bottle, everything that was on their body apart from the bottom layer of clothing was thrown around and just discarded. And this specific person was literally going up to people and dancing with them. That person went up onto the stage, came off of the stage, went up onto the stage, and everyone in the audience felt either liberated or uncomfortable. But she had them feeling. And so many speakers do not do that. And a lot of people would watch that and be like, well, she wasted 5 minutes at the start of her talk. It wasn't wasted. It was very intentional. And I know this woman. She is very intentional in every single thing she does. So it wasn't just to waste a bit of time. It wasn't to fill time. It wasn't just because it was fun. There was a reason she did that. And then the other way is, the fourth way I say to grab people's attention is sexiness. Now, you may instantly have heard that and been like, well, that's not me. I always say, I'm not a very sexy person. I even laugh as I say it. But there are some people that naturally ooze sex appeal, right? That draw people's attention because they have this, they give off this sexy vibe. If you walked out onto the stage, you swished back a dress and dropped down into a slut drop, you would have people's attention straight away. And the reason why I talk about these 4 different things is because you are going to instantly, when you do this, you set the standard, you set the expectation for your audience. You go, this is what you're getting, and they will know straight away whether they're a heck yes, a hell no, because you're always going to have people at either end of that, like, you know, of the bar. And then the people in the middle then decide whereabouts they are. They're either kind of on the edge and they stay. They either go into the heck yes, this is my type of thing, or they go into the no, this isn't for me. And you want that. Because if you are for everyone, you are for no one. You are always going to have a split audience. And if you don't have a room full of people that some of them love you, some of them don't like you at all, you aren't delivering your truth and your honesty and you authentically as you are, who you are. Because when you are being 100% yourself, you are always going to turn people on or turn people off. So if you're in that neutral middle ground where you don't have people saying, oh my God, I absolutely love you, your speech was my favourite thing, then you haven't got people that don't like you. Which means you don't have people at either end, you're sitting in that safe zone in the middle and not fully embracing who you are and breaking rules, breaking barriers, breaking boundaries, and really breaking through to have an impact. So the ways that you can do this, and I really love, there was somebody that the first thing they do, a speaker that I watched a video actually of their speech, they walked on stage and delivered a joke straight away and the audience laughed. Now, if you're a funny person, you can definitely do that. You can get away with that. And someone I know used to do this. He's a male speaker. And he used to come on and he would always tell a joke about a bird. It was like this bird joke. And people were instantly hooked because he walked out on stage and started talking about how there was a dove flying through the sky over the pond one day, and people were literally like, what on earth? But the child in our brain starts to listen because it's a story and we learn best by stories. So as soon as he starts telling this joke, people are hooked. Hooked. Like, no one's talking, no one's looking at phones or anything else because they're like, dove? What on earth? Like, this hasn't got anything to do with what I'm here for, does it? They're intrigued. They're engaged. There's somebody else I know that walks on stage and instantly asks for a response for their audience. So this is a speaker that I've worked with before. There's 2 actually that just popped into my head that I want to share with you. One of them, the first thing we had her do was her entrance music she came onto, she got people clapping. It was We Will Rock You that she came onto the stage with. And she literally was like, everyone on your feet, I want to see you clapping your hands. Like, before she'd even entered the stage, people were doing this. She walked on and she continued it. And then when she wanted the music to fade, she brought it down. She had got her audience to do something. They had broken the state they were previously in, and now she had them engaged. This is how you can use physical movement to engage your audience and get them to be interested in you straight away. Another way you can do this is through movement. So the example that I just told you where, you know, she got people, oh, that's what I just explained. The example that I just used about the clapping hands, or prior to that, the one that got you dancing and feeling kind of uncomfortable. Now, another client of mine used her voice straight away and she started asking the audience questions. She came out and she said, have you ever felt like, and explained. Have you ever felt like boom. And she got the audience to respond straight away. So instantly, they felt like they were seen. Oh, she gets me. She sees me. She understands me. It was very smart. Very smart. And these are things that you can use, yes, in the first 60 seconds to engage your audience, but you can also use these things throughout your speech as well, in moments where you either can feel that the energy is dipping, that people are distracted, that something you're saying or a part of your speech isn't landing, you can move through that. Or if there's a really important part in your speech, you want it to land in people's hearts and souls and that be the thing they never forget, then you can use these tools, you can use these ways to get them there, back engaged in the moment with you before you drop your powerful piece, before you drop your pebble in the lake and it creates ripples. These are really, really powerful things that you can be using, definitely at the start, but you can also insert them throughout throughout your delivery, throughout your talk, throughout your message, throughout your speech, throughout your presentation, whatever it is. Something I will add as well, because I really loved this example, was there was a speaker, I watched him on video actually. I wish I could remember his name. He walked on stage at the start of this conference, and it was a conference, I believe, with a lot of medical experts. There were doctors and nurses and practitioners and surgeons and loads of different medical people in the audience. You can tell that I don't know what I'm talking about, medical people. And he walked out, and he didn't say anything for 50 seconds whilst he was on stage. He literally got introduced, he walked out onto the stage, completely ignored the audience. He got a cigarette out of his pocket, he got a packet of cigarettes out of his pocket, opened the lid, took a cigarette out, closed it, put it back in his pocket, put it in his mouth. He then searched this pocket for his lighter, wasn't in there, searched the other pocket for his lighter, there it was. And he went to spark up, and as he then looked out across the audience, like he just realised they were there, and realised they were looking at him like, you can't do that, what on earth? He's going to light up a cigarette on stage? Here, now, at this, in front of us? Like this complete, like it was a ridiculous thought. He took the cigarette out of his mouth, put the lighter back in his pocket, put the cigarette back in the box, and put it back in his pocket, and he walked across the stage and literally went, what? And then went on to give like it was a medical comparison. It was genius, because if people weren't already kind of laughing ha-ha or laughing uncomfortable, a lot of people would then laugh when he was like, what? Or just the comedy of him looking up from lighting his cigarette and looking out, like he just noticed everyone was there. It was really funny to watch. And it's so simple. And it's wild to think that you can go out to deliver a speech and not say something for the first 50 seconds, but have people more engaged and more hooked than somebody that does walk straight out and start talking. The power of silence, the power of body language. You communicate so much through your body language. Never ever forget that. So your body language, your gestures, your posture, your movement in those first 60 seconds can be fully responsible for whether your audience engage with you, are hooked and want to listen to you, or whether they are switched off, they're done, they're not bothered about listening to your talk. And then you have to earn them back. So what are the biggest takeaways from this episode? Don't start with I. Make it about your audience first. Engage with your audience in some way. And if you can and it feels right for you, you could start with a joke, something funny. You can start with something sexy that grabs attention. You could start with something that intrigues people, that has people like, what on earth is going on over there? Or something scary. Scare your audiences into attention and engagement. Sounds a bit crazy, sounds a bit weird, but if you want to stand out, if you want to be unforgettable, you have to break rules and you have to do things differently to how other speakers do things. If you walk out on stage, you introduce yourself, you start telling your story, you instantly sound like every other speaker. And I know you're not here because you want to be like every other speaker. You join me on the Speaker Toolkit every Friday or whenever you listen to the episodes because you want to stand out, because you want to be remembered, because you want to be a booked out international speaker. And this is how you do things different. You break the rules, you break boundaries, and you break through to create incredible impact. Impact that creates a ripple effect across the world. If you give any of these a try, I would love for you to share with me what you do at the start of your speech. In the comments below, tell me what you are going to use at the start of your speech, or if you use one of these at the start of your speech and what impact you feel it have. Go absolutely kill it when you speak on stages, and I'll see you in the next episode.